I'd always had an interest in stick skills. As a police officer in the 1960s, I believed that the police truncheon was outdated and decided to explore other alternatives while in Japan. In Japan, I trained directly under Takaji Shimizu, the last Grand Master of Shindo Musōryu Jo, which is the art of 4-foot stick. Aspects of this system are still taught to Japan's riot police. It was Master Shimizu who taught me the 3-foot stick system called Uchidaryu, also used by Japan's riot police. Another system I studied was that of ninja master Masaki Hatsumi. His art was called Kukishin Ryu and included 3 lengths of stick, which encompassed both striking and restraining. My main teacher of this stick system was Quinton Chambers, who later published a book on the subject. I was requested back to Britain by the police, who wanted to use my expert knowledge. It was at their instigation I began to develop my Seitei Tanjo system in the late 1970s, encompassing both striking and restraining. However, due to a complex set of circumstances, this was not to be. Nevertheless, I continued to develop the system over the years. You have to be able to avoid your attacker. For example, if I just borrow Jamie, you're reaching towards me, it doesn't matter what you do with the stick. If his hand's coming this way, the chances are it'll make contact. So first of all, you have to move out the way, to the side, or backwards, or directly to the side, or simply pivoting out of the way. Once you've learnt to move out of the way, the next thing to practice is striking. And striking is very important because if you're using a stick, the chances are your attacker will be armed with perhaps a knife or some similar type of weapon. And what you have to do is to be able to strike that from his hand or from his grasp. So if he's thrusting at you, you can strike it here. If he's stabbing down, perhaps here, flowing with it. If he's thrusting again, move to the side and stop him and then strike down on the wrist. Whatever happens, after you've learnt the footwork, striking comes next. Then you'll learn to restrain and to lock. So for example, he comes at you, you strike his wrist, he loses the knife, and then you'll bring him into some kind of lock. And there are many types of locks. For example, if you reach, strike again, strike here, I can lock him here. If he comes in on the other side, block him, take him into this type of lock here. Perhaps as I let him up, he strikes at my head again, block him, bring him back to here. Bring the stick over to here to bring him forward. Possibly he'll try to kick me. Come to here, and you can apply quite a painful lock, and so on and so forth. So there are many things that can be done with a stick apart from simply bludgeoning and striking somebody. Now let's look at that sequence of techniques slowly. Start in this basic position. As your opponent stabs downwards, you step to the side, slide both hands to this end of the stick, strike up underneath the wrist. As he steps backwards for his next stab, slide one hand down here, and as you slide the other, strike into the arm in this fashion. He moves backwards, come to basic position. As he stabs, pivot, slide to this end of the stick and strike the wrist with the extremity of the stick. This time he lets go of the knife, come back to basic position here. As he reaches for you, strike to the stomach, just under the ribs, grab his wrist and twist the stick in this fashion, here. Step forward to lock him, bringing the stick against his arm, against his elbow joint here. We'll assume that he's very strong and he manages to force his way up and he grabs the end of the stick. Trap his fingers on the stick. Using this short end, bring it across the top so that his hand and his arm form almost a Z. Then push straight downwards into a lock, into a wrist lock. He'll submit, you let him up, and that completes the first sequence.
Stop it.